this is John with John's Workshop, and in this episode of working on the GL550, we're going to replace the other electronic modules besides the aromatic. So once we replace that, the aromatic's all good now, and we're going to move on to the rest of the modules. It's finally time to replace these old crusty modules that were under the driver's seat. There's the radio with the new one, so luckily for eBay I was able to get ones that are in good shape. So essentially these are the replacements that are going to go in, and these are the old ones. Just secured the aromatic module in there, kind of cleaned some things out, redid that ground connection just to make sure it's all good, and we're about to put this floor back in and start to button things up. I've got the modules installed for, this is the antenna amplifier and the Parktronic. Just about to connect them up, but I'm going to use some dielectric grease here to basically just put a little dab in each pin before closing that on there, just to help keep moisture out of there. There's the big radio connector with dielectric grease in there, ready to get reinstalled. So all the modules are back in place, but before I put the cover back on here, I'm going to power up and just see if things are working or not. Alright, here we go. Turn the key on and see what we get here. Oh, I hear some static. That might be a good sign. Let's see if we go to radio. Oh yeah, I'm getting static. Maybe that's a good sign? Let's see. Well, it says FM. Let's just see what happens if we do some scan. Oh, it's not finding anything. Huh. I wonder if it has its antenna connected. No CD inserted. All right, we have some success. The CD is playing. Just in case somehow moisture would get in here again, I decided to put this little detector in here. It's just a real cheapy sensor, but I thought maybe that would at least provide a little bit of peace of mind, just in case something was to get wet in here somehow. So here's that water leak sensor, and I just ran it out here, and I think I'll just keep it under the seat and we'll see how that goes. Carpets are all back, but there's kind of a mess over here. This doesn't look so good, and so I'm going to do some wet vacuuming in here to try to clean all that stuff out before the seat goes back in. On the passenger side, this is how that module, the inverter module, is just sitting in there right like that, right there. And then the wire, this was like up in here, kind of pushed back here, and then the wire coming out of the sill plate is just going up like that underneath here. So there you go. And this wire that powers the inverter looks like it just runs like right in here along this right here. So it's not under this floor plate at all. So by swapping this, the one that works on the passenger side, and this sill plate, which works on the passenger side, swapping components back and forth with the other, the driver's side, I found that not only is this no good on the driver's side, but the sill plate is no good either. car was missing this bracket that holds the battery in place. So I got this one from eBay, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in. At least that'll hold the battery so it doesn't bounce around in there if we hit bumps. Well, I see why people aren't putting that back in there, because it is very difficult to get your hand down there to like maneuver it and put the nuts and washers on it. So about the only way I could really manipulate stuff down there was using these long needle nose pliers to put like the washers down in there. See, and I'm going to put the nuts down in there, but yeah, don't count on getting your hand in there without bruising it up pretty good. And then to get those nuts in there, just using this paper towel technique, you know, so you kind of hold the nut in there while you get down there and get it on to start the threads. All right, now both of them are in and snugged up, so the battery should not be floating around if we hit bumps and hit the brakes and stuff like that. This is how that first plastic cover goes. There are a couple of tabs that you gotta line up in the front there, and it slides in. This little tab thingy down here goes down there like that, and then it kind of snaps in here. And then next we put the ductwork back in there. Basically goes in like this, so the passengers get warm feet. Well, this is a milestone for this car. First time, got all the plastic fittings back in, batteries in, the driver's side is all put together, passenger side is all put together here, and this works on this side. And here's the driver's side, all the carpets back in, and looks good. Illuminated door sill not working, but easy to get out, and the module just sits right behind here, so I can watch eBay for something coming up that's affordable. And now we're ready to move on to the next thing. We're looking under the glove box here on the right hand side of the car, because under here is where the blower is, and there's the bottom part of the blower right there. Blower started coming on while I was using the star system, and I wasn't even telling it to come on. So I thought maybe the problem was water in the controller. It's kind of a common thing that can happen. So there you can see the bottom of the blower, and here you can see the board, and there are clear signs that this thing has been getting pretty wet, and I think at some point it just kind of started coming on. So whenever I connected the battery, turned the car on, the blower was on, even though it really wasn't being commanded on. So that is yet another board that needs to be replaced. The reason you get water in there is because the bottom of this intake, this is the air intake, kind of mates up with this part, so the air comes in here, goes down here, is the drain hole in here can get plugged. So my way of solving that problem is I got this spool of wire. It's just, what is this, like 10 gauge, something like that, 12 gauge, and copper wire, and I basically just push this down through the drain hole to clear it out. So here's an even better way to clean out the drain, which I just discovered, which is pop these little clips off here, just like that. Screwdriver, and then you just lift this whole thing out of here. So this whole thing just lifts right out, and in here, there you can see where we have certainly a level where you can see the pollen was just sitting there too high, and then back in here you can see the drain there, and you can get to it a lot easier, so you can then clean it out. And I think where I was taking on water was right here, and you can see the level looks like it was right there. So that's how we were getting the water in, but down here it looks like we can get rid of this more directly than just poking a wire in there. So this is my old blower that was in the car, And then here's the $34 one from eBay. Blower works great now. We've got the radio working. Success for those other electronic modules that I showed you in this video. Next step is to get the moonroof taken care of, and you'll see that in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful.